Okay, everyone, welcome to the next episode of the Geospatial Index. I'm very proud to say that I have managed via LinkedIn to find for you the CEO of GISCarta, Alex Korolov. He is in Belgrade at the moment, but he is from Russia, where he studied at Moscow State University. Welcome, Alex.
Hello, Will. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for this invitation through the LinkedIn for your podcast.
All right. So, first up, could you give us the elevator pitch for GISCarta?
Yes, of course. GISCarta is a platform, is a geoportal for analyzing geodata, for creating and sharing interactive web apps. It uses open source technologies and a very important thing, it does not require license payments and license fees. So it divided into two products. First is online version, which can be used by anyone by subscriptions or just for free. So if you don't want to buy a subscription. At this moment, this is an affordable solution for everyone who needs analytics and visualization of the geodata. And the second one is the enterprise solution. So the enterprise solution is self-hosted. So we install it on the customer servers. It also does not require any license payments. So customer pay only once for installations and can use this platform forever for any amount of users and so on. About our history, we launched in 2023 in CIS market. We received very positive feedback. It was unstructured market and sold the product to several large enterprise clients with the total revenue, as I remember, $400,000. And now we actively developing in the world. For today, we are looking at Latin American market, Asia market, and a little bit less on Europe and North America, because on this market we see a great need among companies for affordable solutions. Yes.
Yep.
So this is a little intro speech.
I love it. You're really expanding worldwide. That's really good to see. Okay, so what is the niche that you serve?
As I think you will agree with me that the GIS solution occupy several niches. So not only one, because it is all about geodata. Since geodata market is now is growing quite quickly, or almost more and more companies understand that they have geodata and they need the GIS solution. So our niche, starting from urbanism and constructors to mining companies and companies in the field of transport or ecology. So there are different areas where customers, people need to use GIS solution.
Okay, very good. So moving on, I guess, to the development of your product, how do you ensure that you're working backwards from customer needs?
It is very necessary, I suppose. We worked a lot with different universities, different departments and faculties, and we have feedback from completely different areas, from different faculties, and starting from GIS professionals, GIS specialists, cartographers, ending with urbanism, physical geographers, architectures, and so on. Despite the fact that, of course, we have our own roadmap, we can change and modify it based on the wishes and feedback. And I suppose the best example of changing our roadmap was not so long ago. One guy just sent me a letter that he wants to use his shared map password to protect his map by password.
Yep.
And we say, okay, it's a challenge, let's do it. And for 1 month, we created this functionality. So the discussion of UX and then design, architecture, development, testing, and this is in 1 month. I suppose it's very quick.
Yeah, great. That's a really nice example of what customer needs and responding. Okay, so you've mentioned that in the first year you generated 400,000 in revenue. You've also mentioned, without overdoing it, that you do have a mechanism to respond to customer needs. So in the context of this, how fast is customer growth, bearing in mind you haven't been going for very long?
So it grows quite quickly. The number of clients for today, we have already 3,500 on clients on online platform, and there are also enterprise solution clients, and the number is also growing while we are going to different markets, to different countries, and so on. But of course, depending on the country and the competition in this country, competitors in this country. So it could be a free market, or it could be it could be a market with a large amount of competitors. So it's very hard to get more good amount of clients from this market.
The next question is, why has GISCarta chosen to make your client's GIS experience easier and more efficient?
Yes, of course. And first of all, I suppose the main thing is the large core of our team worked at a company like Esri, and we know pretty well what kind of UI, UX users need while working with geospatial data. And therefore, we understand what features we need to implement from the very beginning, and what we need to do later. For example, what kind of settings should have vector layers, what kind of settings should have raster layers, what functionality is most and less important. And also, it is important to say that we use AI to obtain data, and this simplifies the work many times over.
You mean you could collect, as a user, you can use an AI on your system to collect data sets to map? Or
yes, you can get data from OpenStreetMap, just printing some, for example, parks in Paris or 5-level buildings in London, and you will get this data on.
Is that using Overpass Turbo?
Of course, and the GPT chat.
Yep, to form the queries for that.
Yes,
I guess. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So the AI and obtaining data helps us to cover a very large niche of potential users who need geodata analysis but do not need geodata.
Yep. Or don't know how to go about, because it can be quite difficult. Even the fact that a shapefile has 5 files or something like that overwhelms a lot of people.
And overpass turbo also is not very simple from the very beginning.
Impossible. Yeah. Cool. You're not the first, I think, in my discussion with Steve Atwell of Ordnance Survey, which is like the national mapping company in the UK. He also was using ChatGPT to form Overpass Turbo queries. So,
and I suppose AINO, such companies, AINO also use it.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. That's an emerging trend for how AI is being used in our industry. Cool. Okay, so I noticed on your website that you listed off sort of 4 categories of areas where your product can be of benefit. Those were urban planning, incident management, journalism, and consulting. So I'd be interested to hear an example related to each of those, maybe starting with urban planning.
Yes. Let's start with the urban planning. For this area, we have several tools for urbanism. First of all, service areas, transport service areas, calculated by time or distance from point and to point by different kind of transport. So you can calculate it by foot, by bicycle, by car. So such kind of transport. They are calculating according to the OpenStreetMap roads. There is also, how I've said before, receiving data from OSM using AI. You can type, for example, some level buildings in London and so on, and
those
also,
are in the background here of my image.
yes,
that map
yes,
is
right there,
generated in
right
London.
there. Yeah. And also, you will get attributes. You can then visualize data by these attributes, and also AI we use to get population of cities. So you can type population of Tokyo, population of Berlin, and you'll get a hexagon layer with the population in each hexagon. So you
Nice.
can, yes, create a correlate from this data. Another important tool for urbanists is a layer comparison widget and a time slider, so that they can compare or show the dynamics of the development of a city or region, for example, so by time. And of course, I can bypass the plugin for QGIS. So everything that you can do in QGIS, you can rapidly or quickly add to GISCarta using the plugin. So it could be the results of geoprocessing tools, it could be vector, raster layers, temporary layers, and so on.
You mean you can very easily bring the outputs? So if you do some geoprocessing in QGIS, you can spontaneously bring it into GISCarta?
Yes, just click add data to GISCarta, select a layer.
Nice.
And
okay, you can publish it effectively from QGIS to your GISCarta account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are working for now to add styles. So you will export from QGIS not only geometry but styles already.
Yeah. I'll have to give it a shot. Sounds great. We'll have to come back and do a workshop, like a screen share demonstrating. Okay. How about incident management?
Our platform, it is mostly used by enterprise solution clients for monitoring data, for displaying data. Enterprise solution customers often ask us to integrate our platform with their services to see on a map how their data is updated, to understand what is changing. And for this we have in our enterprise solution, we have dynamic layers that are updated on the fly on the map after updating the data in the database. And then customer can ask us to customize the platform by adding, for example, some notifications for data operators, something like that. So this is for incident management, I suppose.
Okay. Is that like emergency services, like a fire service? Is that what you mean? Or
Yes, exactly.
okay. In Australia, where I am from originally, a classic case might be bushfires, and showing, the burn front through a forest. Is that also, or flooding? Are those some of the examples?
If there could be a service on this, so we can get the data to our database and the map will be updated on the fly. Yes, this is
Yeah.
the technology.
So
Yeah, in Russia, lots of forests and lots of fires, and it is very, very popular
right.
task.
Okay. Yeah, I think I and many of my listeners, because I'm more from the West, are not aware of the, I guess, hazard and emergency conditions in Russia, and it's interesting to think, because like my stereotype is that it's a cold and frozen place, but it's interesting to hear that
Yes,
there are bushfires there.
everything is awful, I suppose.
No.
Each year, the same thing.
You could say the same about Australia. There's always some massive natural disaster happening somewhere.
When we will make a decision.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we've covered urban planning and incident management. How about journalism?
Yeah, for journalists, ways to display data and the speed of creating applications and maps have always been important. So the speed and the visualization ways, I suppose. And as I already said, one of our advantages is that we have many ways to display data. For example, using cluster layers, heat maps, pie charts, choroplasts, 3D bar charts. We can display discrete gradients for rasters, multi-band rasters, labeling, and so on. And plus, we have excellent designers who create beautiful gradients, icons, and display themes. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was really amazed with the cherry blossom map that you made for Japan. That's how I originally sort of came across you on LinkedIn. And I loved how when you were sort of mousing over the different polygons for different regions of Japan, within a certain circle around the mouse, it converted over to the, I guess, the points of where the actual cherry blossom forests were or something. I just thought that was really beautiful, and it's not common in GIS online web maps that you actually have a beautiful display. So I thought that was something that really stood out about
Yes,
GSCarta.
it is, as I said, it is a layer comparison widget. It is also used in urbanism. So you can have a map of, for example, 2024, and in this circle, you will see the historical regions, and you can
Ah,
compare it. You can compare
yeah,
it. What kind of architecture was in this region
yep.
before and today? It is very, very important for them.
Yeah, it's just a really unique way of using the mouse and having the map respond to where the mouse is. And I've never seen anything like that before. So it's nice to see these innovations. Okay, so next up is consulting firms. Why do they like GISCarta?
Yeah. We work also with consulting firms, and for consulting, which is not the main part of our clients, our platform is often used by geo marketing companies for special analysis and location assessment. So, coupled with data from OpenStreetMap and transport accessibility, this is very convenient to them. And soon we plan to add the widget with the half model based on the gravity model to analyze the location of competitors to help consulting firms to locate their business.
Okay.
So
Sorry, you said what model? Something model.
half, half. It is the name of the man who created it. Half.
Half.
A
Okay, half
U
model.
and F. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Mm.
Well, I'll go and
It
find
was
an.
it was the tool in ArcGIS. So
Okay.
I suppose many years ago.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I was just thinking, do you want to pause the and you can turn the light on in your room because it's getting a
Yes.
bit dark.
Let's try. Is
Okay.
it okay?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
I'm realizing it's getting a bit dark here as well, but I have a phone with the light turned on pointing at me, so I've still got some light.
I'm not professional yet, so
You can tell how bad I am. It's
no, no,
just
no.
it's
It's
just a
okay.
stupid phone. Uh, oh man, I need to become a professional much more than
It's okay. I
what's that?
suppose uh, it's better like this. People understand that you
It's
are
more real.
you are real.
I-
Yes.
I'm not. I'm actually interested in this. I'm not some fake. Yeah.
You take models. Yes.
Cool. Okay.
It's popular in
Yeah.
Russia to for thieves to create these models to ask old people for money. Yes,
Ah.
unfortunately, it is very popular. They, for example, in some kind of messengers, they create a little video with
Mm,
your face and send it to your, for example, grandpa or grandma,
yeah.
and it is awful.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my parents in Australia, they have also been victims of email scams, There was a common one in the past sort of 5 years where you get an email from someone who pretends they lost a lot of money overseas when they're traveling. Don't know if you guys got the same one. Yeah, mine.
In Russia, people do not grant, so old people cannot use emails. That's why not the only phones that is in their hands, and these ones.
If you don't have access, that is a good way easy way to control it. Yeah. I wanted to say I've actually been to Moscow once in 2017. And I actually really loved it. Moscow's a really beautiful city. And I bought one of those Russian hats with the ear warmer,
Yeah,
and
I understand.
it was
Ушанка.
Ushanga?
Ушанка, да. Yes.
Ushanka.
Ухо, it means ear.
Yep.
Ушанка. Yes, ушанка.
Ah, good to know. Okay, I'll use the correct term now. And in the same shop, I don't know if it was real, but you could buy like a cosmonaut suit,
What does it mean?
like the orange suit for a cosmonaut, the guys that go to space.
It could be, yes, it could be somewhere people in the Soviet Union, people stole from the manufacturing different things. And they do not have money in Russia, and they need to sell it. My friend, I will send you one of the contact that I will send you. My friend, he made a wedding with his wife using this suite.
Oh, really?
Yes, at the Cosmonaut Day, he yes, he
That's
used it.
great.
It's normal for us.
All right. It looked like an official tourist shop. It didn't look like it was stolen. But I don't know.
Then yes, it is something not real.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I'd love to go back. Okay, so we've covered off who uses GISCarta, some of the benefits for different user groups. So I thought it would be good to focus next on the widgets, because when I was reading about the platform, it sounded like you have developed about 20 of these. So which widget was the most difficult for you guys to develop?
We have more than 40 widgets for today, and I
40
don't.
now.
Yeah, yes, and I don't think that for now we can say that it is very difficult to develop a widget. It was difficult to develop such system, such modularity system when any new functionality, any new widget is very easy to implement, to include for developers. So it is very flexible system, and also, of course, we have strong developers. So we divide widgets not according to the complexity of development, but according to the degree of interest. So obviously, there are main and base widgets such as measuring distance, measuring area, and so on. And on the other hand, widgets that require some brain activity. For example, AI, of course, much more interesting to develop than a Zoom level widget, of course. You can also, we can also know the elevation profile
I saw
widget
that.
and flexible data filtering system. This is very important. Setting password for each map and also creating player groups are also very interesting.
Yep. Okay. So for the elevation profile widget, what's your data source?
This is DEM. It is open sourced elevation model. We use 2 kilometer in 1 pixel, and if there is enterprise solution customer, he can change this elevation model. So of course, there was no customer that needed elevation model on all over the world, and of course they need in some area, and they just change for this model for example, some of their sources and use it.
Yeah. Okay, so a common analysis that a geospatial professionals will undertake is a so-called multi-criteria analysis, where you convert a number of different constraints to rasters with a constant score. You sum them all, and you get a cost surface across all of those constraints. And then you might do a optimal path analysis across the cost surface between 2 points. Is GISCarta able to do anything like that?
Maybe in the future, but for today, you can create it in, I suppose, in QGIS, and using QGIS plugin for GISCarta, you can import data to the web. Yes.
So you're saying you could publish as like a geoprocessing service from QGIS an optimal path tool?
You mean not the result, you mean the service. Okay, I understand. No, we do not have such service for today, but this is your feedback. I suppose we can create it.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's this kind of analysis is like a really common one amongst GIS professionals, but being able to, for the regular public on a web map, to be able to do optimal path analysis between points they choose. I mean, you've already got something like that with the service areas. And you can do navigation on the, you can set up, it can calculate driving directions.
We have roads. Yes, of course.
Okay, so you've already got similar kind of apps.
Yes, I understand what you said. I suppose it is not very difficult task for the backend, and then just creating a service for it. Yes, I suppose it is a good idea.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just something that sprang to mind. Okay. So I also had a question about which is the most common widget that's used. I'm guessing it's the measure tool.
I suppose filtering is the most popular widget. So almost everyone needs it, and in very simple and intuitive form. So even some enterprise solution customers came to us for this. In 1 to 3, you can create filtering by numbers, by strings, attributes, in the form of radio buttons, checkboxes, or slider for intervals.
Is this filtering the attribute table or filtering spatially somehow on the map?
It filters attributes for now, and I suppose in a month we will add special filtering by territories, by areas, maybe by intersections or something like this.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the second place, I suppose, the geodata AI widget is used quite often for obtaining data. It's obvious, and it is useful to enrich any map with additional geodata. So these two widgets are the most popular for now.
Okay, good to know. So the next item is about AI being all the rage and whether it's changed your business. It sounds like it has. You, for example, using AI to pull in records from OpenStreetMap. Have you got any other comments about how it's changing your business?
Yes, I will start a little bit earlier from the very beginning. That the plus of our platform, and I think the huge plus, is the modularity of a system. So we do not need to change the design or architecture of the system to accommodate to implement new widgets and functionalities, and therefore we can integrate everything new in geodata market into the system quite painlessly. And when AI became reached rather normal level of working with geodata, we immediately tried to connect it with our platform. So we created a widget to obtain data from OSM, as I said, and then getting population of any city. And now we are working on for developing it in different directions, including obtaining raster data.
So you said you were using AI to somehow process or obtain satellite imagery. Can you expand on that a bit more?
Yes, I suppose we will in some time we will include this functionality to AI widget, so you will have an opportunity to get satellite images using just the input.
Using basically a natural language input facilitated by AI. Cool.
Yes, like this.
It does.
And maybe after that, or maybe in parallel, we will make some analysis of different operations, different standard geospatial operation.
Yeah, I feel like that's the real revolution. I can't wait until you can just basically speak to the web mapping application, and it will just do these complex analyses. I think that's what we're all waiting for.
Yes, from the one hand, of course, you're absolutely right, But I suppose that some people in this sphere or the spheres around GIS think that it could change everything. So it can the AI would be instead of GIS. So I suppose not. I suppose only as an additional functionality it could be in this sphere. So this is my opinion.
I'm fine if it takes my job.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just be an investor.
Understand. For us, AI make some junior developers works. Yes, it writes code more accurate than June developer.
Interesting. Yeah, I've certainly used it to help me write code a lot. Yeah. Cool. It genuinely is like everybody has an assistant.
Yes, of course.
Good. Okay, so you are keeping up with the latest trends with AI, which is great to see. I'd like to sit back a bit and hear what it was like studying geospatial in Moscow.
When I was studying about 12 years ago, we created maps in Paint and CorelDRAW. So we didn't study JS software and, of course, programming at all. So we had learned everything by ourselves on YouTube, maybe on some different sources. And that is why after learning it, I was asked to give a series of lectures on programming in GIS, and this hobby has dragged on for 10 years. And for today, I read lectures. And as a result, it was a YouTube channel, Basics of Programming for Geographers. It's a Russian language channel, the largest in this area.
Fantastic. You're like a celebrity in GIS programming in Russia. I'm proud to have you on the show. This is really good.
It's very funny.
I saw you had like 5,000 subscribers or something. It's pretty good.
Nearly, yes, something like this. And lots of customers from Europe came to us from this channel.
Yeah.
So it became a friendship with some guys from Switzerland. They had asked us to create a web map, and so for many years. And now, so speaking about your question, now in Moscow, of course, everything is better, of course, with GIS, but still far from perfect. So maximum Python in QGIS they study, but it is from the one hand, and on the other hand, there is a very large community of enthusiasts that are moving GIS education forward. So free education, free GIS for every student. There are lots of sources by different people, by different persons to understand.
Awesome. Sounds like a real community.
Yes, it's a very big community.
Fantastic.
Yes, and it is good for students, I suppose.
Yeah, great. Okay.
I think that sorry, I think that education should be free for students.
Of course, it used to be free. My parents' generation, university was free, in Australia, and then somehow it became ridiculously expensive. There needs to be a revolution.
Yes, unfortunately. My dream to go to Australia. Yes. I studied it in the university on the geography faculty. Yes.
Tell me, what did you discover?
Discover.
Sorry, I don't mean to test you.
I understand, but let me collect my thoughts about Australia. So it was interesting story. I need to I need to understand what can I say in English, but because I have
It's okay.
very low vocabulary. It was very interesting story when Australia has been covered by people, by prisoners, as I remember. So the first people there were from prisons. Then
But they came from this part of London, some of them, because
yeah, really.
this used to be like a dock area. It was one of the largest industrial docks in a city anywhere in the world. And in this area, even the ships like the Mayflower that went to America came from this area. So just to say, where
Yeah.
I am now is where a number of these original Australians went. Yes.
Yeah, and also the information that about Tasmanian people that were killed shocked me, and
Yes.
yeah, it is very
Horrific.
poor. Yes, but for me, the physical characteristics of Australia are very interesting to develop for myself. I want to go to the middle part of Australia where there is nothing except sands, I suppose, but something. But it is very interesting for me to develop.
Glad to
Yeah.
hear that. Yeah, I've been to the center of Australia a few times, and yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
flat and hot.
It's hard. It is hard to be there.
Ah,
Difficult organism.
it's not. So the funny thing about Australia is, if I'm honest with you, most of the people, I'd say, God, it is the Australian population 25 million now. I'd say of those 25 million, around about 24 million are in like 6 cities around the coast, and 90% of those people never go 100 kilometers away from the coast. So what I'm trying to say is that your typical Australian, unfortunately, isn't what the stereotype is. They are a typical Australian is just a city living person who drinks coffee.
Yeah. And so
And
you.
yeah, so,
I understand.
sorry to
And
sound disappointing.
uh, we so when you are growing in Russia, you are studying to go to the nature with your parents, for example, with your schools and so on. So maybe in Australia there is something like this to go to mountains
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see.
Absolutely. So I grew up in Adelaide, in South Australia, or sort of in the centre on the south coast. A popular mountain range is the Flinders Ranges, and every school holidays, my parents took our
Mhm.
family there camping. I had that kind of an upbringing. And my school, we had many school trips going camping. It was a common thing, part of the school that I went to, and on another episode, I mentioned the surveying camp in year 10, where because there was a relationship that my school had with a university,
Mhm.
that university would specify an Aboriginal site that had not been mapped properly by archaeologists somewhere in South Australia. And so our school, the year 10, class 10, drove in a bus for many hours to this remote Aboriginal site with theodolites and mapping and surveying equipment, and broke up into groups for a week. And we would map the whole site gradually over a week and collect all the survey data, and then come back and spend the rest of the term converting all that survey data into a nice map and give that to the university. So I think that's
yeah. In our university, in Moscow State University, on geography faculty, there are lots of practices in summer for different for different departments. There are different practices. So we, as economical geographers, went to Europe. Some guys went to USA, and the physical geographers have opportunity to go to Kamchatka. They have opportunity to go to the Antarctica for 1 year. For 1 year, yeah, for living there for 1 year.
1 year?
No, one study year. So this is
okay.
8 months. Yes.
Okay. That's still a long time.
Yeah. It is so interesting and very big experience for the next life to go, for example, to Kamchatka to see bears in front of you. So you you are fishing from the one side of the river, and he is fishing on the other side.
Crazy.
And the river is maybe 20 meters in the weeds.
Yeah.
And you understand that the bear doesn't like you. He likes fish, and there is no danger at all. So there is no danger at all. And it was very interesting going to Elbrus or something like this.
Yep. No, that sounds legitimate. I'm jealous. That's great. Okay. So this is the Geospatial Index podcast. It's about investing. How can I and others invest in GISCarta?
Okay, yeah. Of course, I understand that investments will help us, and among other things, that they can increase the speed of development of new widgets and new functionalities. So yes, we are receiving investments. We are open for these, for share the part of company, and anyone who will look at this podcast, who will maybe listen to this podcast, can write me. I suppose my email or LinkedIn will be under this video, and we will send a pitch deck, presentation, and any detailed information. Yeah.
Awesome. This is what the podcast is about. All right, let's see how we go at that. Okay, so finally, in the UK, it's possible to undertake a geospatial apprenticeship. So what qualities, skills, or ambitions should an apprentice have to do well at GISCarta? And how are you fostering the next generation of geospatial analysts in Serbia, given that that's where you are at the moment?
For myself, as I've said before, I'm a teacher of programming in GIS, and this is my hobby. And since maybe 22 years old, I read these lectures on JavaScript.
So actually, it's very simple. The apprentice just has to go to your YouTube channel and learn all your videos. You made it really easy.
Yes, I hope so. And so that's why some of my former students are already working in our company.
Perfect.
Yes, it is very easy to connect with them, and I teach not programmers. I teach geographers and some humanitarian. I teach geographers and some other guys are not mathematicals and so on. And it is it is simpler or easier to make a geographer a programmer than to make a programmer geographer.
Sure.
as I can, as if it is understandable. Yes, because programmer has different much opportunities to create something, and he does not know why does he need some information about coordinates, about datum, and for what just. And geographers understanding programmer, they increase their salary, and it is in their it is the purpose of them to understand programming. And so we employ designers, JS specialists, programmers, and therefore, depending on the directions, certain skills are needed. And of course, the knowledge of GIS is very important. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. I love the ecosystem that you've created, where you have trustworthy recruits who have studied everything that you have put out there. That's good. And specifically in Serbia, how long have you been there, and are you somehow having an impact on the local geospatial market and community?
Yes, yes. Some of the society, of course, lots of Russians are now in Serbia, and the society of GIS is not empty. And so we are organizing to create some meetups, to create some lectures online, and sometimes offline. I wasn't the one. And also, yes, I for today I sharing my information about QGIS with anyone. So Python in QGIS, from programming from the console to writing QGIS plugins, it is free. I published this course in the YouTube, but it is on Russian language. But I suppose I will translate it maybe in few weeks.
Cool. Well, obviously, the next time I'm in Serbia, I would really love to meet up, and if there's
Yeah.
like some GIS meetup, because like I actually used to run. I've started because I've lived in 5 countries now, and I have started a GIS map up, is what I call them, in each of those countries. The first one I started was in Phnom Penh in Cambodia, when I was a volunteer there with Engineers Without Borders in 2011 to 2012. And then I started one in Kuwait when I worked there. I started one in Adelaide and also in Qatar. And I've done it in Bristol and in London as well in the UK. But it'd be awesome to participate in something like that in Serbia. So.
I wasn't in these countries. It is for me as for geography. It is I want to go there. Yes.
I'm trying to live up to my professions.
Some of my friends that went to for studying to other countries, also to London, for example, or Germany. They share with me their education program. So they say, we are studying this, Alex. We need your help in mathematics, for example, in some programming. And so I didn't want, but I know different programs in different countries on GIS, and I know what they study. And also, I suppose this is not perfect. It's my opinion. Knowledge that different universities give to the students could be more applied, could be more practical. Yes, could be more practical than they study.
Always, yeah. I had the same experience. You know, when my first job was at GHD, an engineering firm in Australia. It was in Brisbane, where I started my career in 2011. And I mean, I remember doing mapping. I'm just like realizing the basics I hadn't really been taught. You know, you learn all these amazing theories. You know, how to by hand calculate network graphs and between the centrality calculations and all of that, but I've never had to calculate any of that. I just need to know how to make a map. So yeah.
Yes, we
Cool.
also draw maps by hand. Yes, on the lightful tables.
Yeah. A light box. That was actually covered in 2 episodes ago with Sarah Bell, who I came across on Bluesky. She works in Washington State for Esri, and she talked about drawing hillshades by hand. So that was a really nice episode with her.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I was just thinking it would be nice to hear some Russian words for mapping and geospatial, if that's okay with you. Just one or two. What is the word for map?
Карта.
Carta. Okay.
GISCarta.
So that relates to the name of your business. So effectively, that's just GIS map.
Yes, in English, GIS map, yes.
Yeah. And so what's geographic information system?
GIS.
So you just say GIS, you just pronounce the acronym.
Географические информационные системы, GIS.
Okay.
Geography mean география. Informational, информационные, система, GIS, yes.
Okay, that's a pretty easy one for an English speaker.
Yes, this is easy, yes.
Cool. And what is surveying?
What is?
Surveying. You know, the survey where you use the theodolite and you make the measurements of the land. A surveyor.
Survey, исследование, обзор, обследование, maybe something like this. Survey.
Обследование.
Обследование, yes.
Okay, cool. And my last one is database.
База данных. Base mean база, данные это data.
Okay, cool. Great. We can now do GIS in Russian. Let's go.
Yes, in the next podcast with my friends from Moscow State University, you can use this word.
Perfect. Gradually, I'll do my episodes in Russian. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You wrote me.
That's amazing, Alex. Yeah, let's meet up for real sometime. Like I'm meeting lots of people.
How did you come to this area to interview or to make a podcast? It is very interesting for me also.
Yeah, sure. So I can send you the link to another podcast I made. It's called The Behavioral Investor. There it is. Hang on. All right, I'll put it in the chat. So it comes from my interest in investing because I did a little online course about how to do more evidence-based, systematic analysis of a business to reduce the chance that you are gambling and reduce bias in your decision making.
It is rather interesting. I will study this resource.
Sure. Yeah, so I did that podcast basically because I wanted to improve my skills as an investor and meet other people. And then I sort of ran out of time and energy. And then I decided to start this study of our industry from the perspective of an investor. So I literally just went, I went on Google, I went on TradingView, the Wall Street Journal, any resource I could find that listed off not just any geospatial company, but ones that you could buy shares in on the stock market. And I wanted to, because like basically you can make money through a job, you can make money as an investor, you can make money as a starting a business. Making money with a job, you only have linear growth. You're always just one person, so you cannot compound yourself except a little bit through education. But the compounding is nothing like you get as an investor growing a business or as a business owner. So the sensible thing is, if you really want to capture the value in your whatever industry you're in, you not only should have a job, you should also own businesses and start businesses. So I took it seriously and I tried to fully characterize how much investors around the world would make if they invested in the entire industry. And I'm up to 325 companies. About half of them are like general companies like Google, who have a important geospatial product like Google Maps. So those are in the index, but also have the ones that are just pure play geospatial, and I can divide the index in two, and I can track the growth of each one. And there's 25 sub-indexes. So you've got, the surveying companies, the aerial imaging companies, the Earth observation companies. And so I know the growth of those individually, those indexes as well. So people who work in Earth observation can check the growth of their market that they work in and compare the growth of their salary in that market with the growth of the businesses in the market. So you can see if you as a worker are winning, or if the investors that you are working for are winning.
It's very important thing, because when we started our business in the past in Russia 10 years ago, or maybe 8 years ago, that was a situation that we came to a client, our customer, and he said, we paid on those days, it was, I suppose, 700 million rubles. It means for now 7 billion. Yes, if I understand. For the GIS applications, just for single page application, and it does not work. Can you please make something with it? So the market in our country was absolutely not structured. So the payments, the salaries were very, very big, and any guy that said, I know GIS programming, became start to get salary not as June programmer, but as senior programmer from the very beginning.
Wow.
And it is very unstructured. It wasn't structured, and
Interesting.
nowadays it become structured, more and more structured. Yes, for today's, only for today's. Yes.
Interesting. So you're talking about in Russia. So you mean, yeah. So it sounds them. Is it because there are more GIS people now in Russia?
Yes, because in Russia for today there is a politic of digitalizing, and every government company understands. So we have data, okay, we have it on papers in PDF files as maximum, and we need something to do with it. We need the databases. Okay, we will create databases, but what is it? This is coordinates. What should we do? Okay, we need GIS, and that's why there is a very, very big how to say it, a very big need to GIS solutions, and so that's why more and more GIS solution companies start.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, it's the so-called digital transformation trend that you see everywhere, from Japan to obviously Russia now.
Cool. It is interesting, because it is. I suppose it's like a paranoia on digital twins for now. So everything should have digital twin. Everything.
Yeah. Oh, digital twin. Okay.
Yes.
The episode I did with Gillian Malod in New York 2 days ago, we also talked about digital twins. So that's a common thread between episodes.
I suppose it's something strange, but there are lots of money here in this sphere. For example, Moscow tried to create a digital twin of Moscow, of every building, of every tree or something else, and they cannot use ArcGIS. They could use only Cesium, and of course, Cesium crashed. You cannot get so much data, and lots of money spending on this to improve Cesium. Cesium is like a framework on 3D. Yes.
So the company that owns Cesium is in the Geospatial Index. I think it's ANSYS. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think the company was acquired from another company. There's a bit of a story.
Okay.
I've got a question. So they couldn't use ArcGIS because
of sanctions.
Okay, right. So that's still impacting.
So before sanctions, there was ArcGIS in every sphere, and also I worked in Esri, and but for after sanctions, all government companies can say that we cannot use it.
That's very interesting. So what year did that happen?
Hmm?
What year did the sanctions happen?
What again, please?
Which year?
Which
2000.
year? 2014 or 2016? Yes, something like that. And
Wow, that must have been a huge shift.
yes, huge shift to open source project. Yes.
Amazing. In a way, actually, it probably was really good for open source projects.
From the one hand, of course, yes, but for students, for those who needed education, of course, they do not have a good product such as software ArcGIS to study. They just need to use some other platforms. Of course, QGIS is very good, is rather good, but something in the web, there were no
Yeah.
alternatives. Mhm.